Hey everybody, Michael Jones again with another sound design tutorial. This time we're going to be taking a look at this shot here, which is going to give me a chance to really explore all of the whoosh sounds in the Motion Sound Library, of which there are so many. In fact, it's really the whooshes that caused us to create the search tool in the first place, because there's so many subtle variations, so many little differences within that single category. So let's dive into Adobe Audition and start working on this shot. Okay, so for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm going to skip forward to after I've found all the sounds and I've put them on my timeline, and let's just do a reconstruction or a deconstruction of the sounds that I ended up with. I started by going to Life and going to Electric Zap to kind of match the neon, so that speaks to materials. So I simply used the keyframing here to bring down the volume as the camera's pulling back, so it moves away a little bit. Now we're not inside the neon, so that volume comes down. Now it's gonna pick back up again as we're flying through this neon area. And then I just have a basic crossfade to where it's off the screen, because I just kind of want to lose that sound as we go into this next section. So let's add this next track. So here, the first blocking I did, this is the order that I did it in. I had the electricity through the neon. Then as we the camera cuts through, just a really standard whoosh. So that's gonna live inside of abstract. And you can see here, movement, whoosh, subtle, mid, center, steep, long. So those were the attributes for this whoosh here. Let's give it a listen. So pretty loud, pretty prominent in there. The next thing I did was add this Flutter Whoosh. And if I come back to the abstract level, we'll see within movement, it's its own category that actually has 1,000 sounds. So there's really a ton of potential Flutter Whooshes in here. And because I'm using a cloner and I have all this repeating design, this seems like a good opportunity to add that in. You see it kind of fades down there. And then I have kind of a basic whoosh on the backside. So the Flutter Whoosh is doing a ton of work for the opening of this. I'm actually going to turn off the Flutter Whoosh. And now let's actually just talk about this sound here. So on track 4, I'm going to go ahead and solo it. There's a moment in the shot where the camera crosses by one of these splines really, really close. So right here. And it almost kind of goes through the camera. So this is a detail in the shot where I thought, let me get a really short, dramatic whoosh that gives the feeling that this thing is really moving close to the viewer. So let's go ahead and give that piece a listen. So it's really basic. It hits you with this really short, punchy whoosh as that's coming in front of the camera. So I thought that is a nice way to emphasize that detail. Now, in terms of the environment, just a kind of underlying sound, I went again into the abstract pack, except this time I went into the glide category. So the glide is just gonna give me some generic environmental feeling of, kind of moving or wind. And so for this layer here, we can see I brought in a glide that was filtered by moderate, a low-pitched, and in terms of direction, center, and the shape is steady. So let's go and give that a listen. And you can see I again brought the volume down as the camera pulls away, and then just brought that volume right back up when we're doing the fly-through. So let's see. So that's kind of my environment layer there, is this really low-pitched glide, because some of these whooshes are definitely taking up that more medium and high-pitch part of the spectrum. So that I think is a helpful way to get kind of a nice sound in there. Now, the next concept I wanted to bring in was the spin, because you'll see in the shot there's some rotation. I thought just getting a kind of generic spin sound might be interesting, and I was able to find one. You see that was filtered by subtle, medium pitch, a direction of up, and then a shape of being steady. And let's go ahead and solo that and take a listen. It kind of ramps up. So it actually ramps up into the animation. So I really like that one. It's almost like kind of an accelerating sound effect there. Starts out a little slow. And then to finish this thing off, a little bit more environment, since the low, that low glide kind of fades out around 7 seconds. I went back to life to look inside the ambience channel again and go back to this idea of a sunrise for the final logo. So let's go and take a listen to where I landed with a sunrise that was subtle and a little bit more high-pitched with a steady shape. So kind of a classic ending. And if I turn everything on, now we can see all of it together. Let's take a look. So I ended up using 8 sound effects for this roughly 10-second shot. I'm pretty happy with where it is. Again, now I could go through and label these so that this file I could come back to at a later time and be able to mix it a little bit easier. Now would be a time also to do any kind of final mix that you want to do and get a nice overall sound, maybe pull some things back, accentuate other things. But that's my approach to working on this shot here. We so hope that the motion sound library is proving to be useful and that this new search tool is helping to speed up your workflow and just help you make better work faster. So thanks for checking out this tutorial. We'll see you next time.